When my daughter's bully's mom called me, she had no idea her precious angel had been tormenting the wrong kid. The woman on the phone sounded like she was barely holding back tears. Hi, this is Rebecca, Austin's mom from Emma's class. I need to talk to you about what your daughter did to my son today. I was folding laundry in the living room, trying to figure out what she was talking about. Emma was upstairs doing homework like she did every Tuesday. I'm sorry, what exactly happened? I asked, setting down one of Emma's tiny soccer jerseys. Rebecca's voice got shakier. Your daughter punched Austin in the face during recess. His nose is bleeding and he won't stop crying. The teacher said Emma just walked up and hit him out of nowhere. My heart sank. Emma was the quietest kid in her 4th grade class, always reading fantasy books during lunch instead of playing with other kids. She barely spoke above a whisper at home. The idea of her punching anyone seemed impossible. Are you sure it was Emma? She's never been violent before. I heard Rebecca scoff through the phone. Of course I'm sure. Austin described her perfectly. Little blonde girl with the unicorn backpack. That's your daughter, right? It was. Emma had begged for that sparkly unicorn backpack at Target last month. I told Rebecca I'd talk to Emma and hung up, feeling confused and disappointed. When I called Emma downstairs, she walked slowly into the kitchen, her head down. Honey, did something happen at school today with a boy named Austin? Emma's face crumpled immediately and she started sobbing. I'm sorry, Mom. I know hitting is wrong, but I couldn't take it anymore. She wiped her nose on her sleeve, leaving a wet streak. He's been mean to me every day since school started. He calls me weird and stupid. He throws my books in the mud during recess. My stomach dropped as she continued. Yesterday he pushed me off the monkey bars and I scraped my knee really bad. Today he said my dead grandma was probably glad she didn't have to look at my ugly face anymore. Emma was crying so hard she could barely get the words out. I felt my blood pressure rising. Emma's grandmother had passed away just 2 months ago, and Emma still slept with the teddy bear grandma gave her. Why didn't you tell me any of this before? I asked, pulling her into a hug. I thought if I ignored him, he'd stop. But today when he said that about grandma, I just got so angry. She looked up at me with red, puffy eyes. I punched him right in his mean face. That's when I realized Austin's mom had no clue her kid was a bully. I grabbed my phone and called Rebecca back. Hi, it's Emma's mom again. I think we need to have a longer conversation about what's been happening between our kids. Rebecca immediately went into defense mode. Look, if you're trying to make excuses for your daughter's violence, I cut her off. Has Austin mentioned anything about bothering Emma at school? Calling her names or pushing her around? There was a long pause. Austin would never do that. He's always been such a sweet, gentle boy. I could hear the doubt creeping into her voice though. I'm going to talk to him when he gets home from the nurse's office. 20 minutes later, my phone rang again. It was Rebecca, but this time she sounded completely different. I owe you a huge apology, she said quietly. I sat Austin down and asked him to tell me everything that happened, not just today, but for the past few weeks. Apparently, when pressed for details, Austin had admitted to everything. The name calling, the pushing, throwing Emma's stuff around. He even bragged about making the weird quiet girl cry almost every day. He said he thought it was funny because she never fought back, Rebecca said, sounding ashamed. I had no idea my son was capable of this. His father and I always taught him to be kind, but clearly we failed somewhere. She paused, then added, Austin is going to write Emma an apology letter tonight, and he's grounded from video games for a month. We're also setting up a meeting with the school counselor. I felt relieved, but also sad for both kids. Emma feels terrible about hitting him. She knows violence isn't the answer. Rebecca agreed. Maybe after Austin apologizes and proves he's changed, they could start over as friends. 3 weeks later, Austin left a handwritten note in Emma's cubby asking if she wanted to sit with him at lunch. She was nervous, but decided to give him a chance. Now they're actually friends, bonding over their shared love of Pokemon cards and arguing about which starter is the best.